My Blazers back. I've got my notes. This is this month's pinball market. Alrighty, so I didn't realize how segmented the pinball market is when it comes to the used market. I'm trying to do my own analytics of the used market, and I decided it's best to segment this because there's just so much information. I want to give a shout out to Pinball Prices. They did a great job. I want to give out shout out to Pinside. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Flipping Out Pinball, Zach and Nicole Many. We've got new games on the horizon. Dungeons and Dragons was just announced, so if you're looking for that game, hit up Zach and Nicole Many. They'll give you the best deal. Also, Silverball swag, like the shirt that I'm wearing, the GOAT, Keith Elwin. Check it out, silverballswag.com/loserkid. We got plenty of products there, and new swag is on the way. All right, let's just jump into some of the facts that's going on right now as we speak. Stern just announced their new vault program. No, that means they're not going to be doing the old vaults that they brought back. That means they're taking games and putting them in a vault so that way they were not going to be making them anymore at this point for at least 2 years. What this means to you in the used market is these games they announced are more than likely going to go up in value over the market over time. These are amazing games like Iron Maiden, Elvira, Star Wars. And after I get to some of these numbers, you're going to be a little baffled, like, why are they doing this? But it's Stern. It might be a brilliant move. It may not. We'll see what happens. So I want to go on record with that. Roughly, there are 70 games being added to Pinside or other markets daily. So it's still a buyer's market. We're seeing plenty of great deals pop up right now. Like I said, the market's very segmented at this point. It's kind of weird. Let's talk Spike 2. Okay, Stern Spike 2. I've got the numbers right here. Going over from the end of 2023 to the end of 2024, overall percentage wise, Stern Spike 2s are down 9.8%. And it's showing as early as the game release, they dip in value. So if you want to get the most bang for your buck, it seems like getting these early games, but used. So, your John Wicks, your Venoms, that stuff right now, those are seeing the biggest dip right now. But as time goes on, as they stop producing these games, those numbers tend to go up over time. And what I say by that is like looking at like Deadpool. I know that Deadpool is one of the games that just announced that they're not going to be making anymore. But if you bought a Deadpool LE at launch, it is up 40% from when it launched. That's right. They're selling around 12.5 right now. You got to kind of look at his investment. Looking at these notes, it's pretty much red up until Rush Pro. Then once we start getting past that, like Stranger Things, we see a trend of up with a couple different anomalies. There's a couple games I'm going to point out. So the three that have done the worst over the span of 5 years. So I've done in the last 5 years because when we get to Bally Williams, I'm not going to compare to games that were released back in 92 because inflation rate was entirely different. They sold at a different rate. And so it's hard to look at that. So I'm going for pre-COVID, which was the end of 2019 to now. I think that gives us a good idea because the pinball market was still on an up trajectory for the previous decade of that. So honestly, the worst game right now, the game you don't want to own is Bond 60th. Granted, this game was sold at $20K when it first came out, and it was one of those kind of like subject to what the dealer wants to do, right? Right now, over the last year, it has dropped 20% of its value. And in the whole scheme of things, since it's released, because it's been less than 5 years, we're down 35%. This is a game that it's only trending down. So I don't know if you want to touch it. And then the next one that is trending down as well is Bond LE, which is kind of I don't know if it's the game. The people are loving this game. The code came out. It's doing great, right? So Bond LE over the past year has dropped 15%. In the grand scheme of things, it is down 28% since its release. And the last one, this one kind of threw me for a loop. Elvira 40th. This game originally released at about 25K over last year, 32% down, and overall 35% down. All right, I know you want to know the numbers of the games that you want to buy, the ones that are seeing up growth, right? So as I'm going through this is going to kind of shock you. So my third best right now, Munsters LE. If you bought this game when it first came out at $8,000, granted, that's 5,000 less than what they are now. If you bought this at $8,000, you today would be sitting around 11.6. That means it's up 29% from when it released. It still is down 19% from last year, but you're still up if you're at that point. Looking at games that are still going up in value, Beatles Gold over just this last year, it's went up 3%. It is down 15% from when originally released. So what that tells me is we're still seeing growth in this pinball machine. It may be down from when you originally bought it. So if you bought this out the gate, you might be in a little trouble. But if you bought it in the last year, you're still good. You're probably not going to lose value. You're probably going to trade straight across your value on that one, right? This is one of the games they just announced. Star Wars Comic Pro. It's up 10% from last year, and it's still flat across from when it released. So that means we're still seeing growth in this one. You're still good to go on that one. The one that really shocked me, this game, if you own it right now, it might be time to sell because overall the market's trending down, right? We're seeing that over this past year. As I look at it, we're down 10% on spikes. On JJP, we're down 10%, and Bally Williams aren't as bad. They look like they're down about 3%. I have to adjust some of those numbers. I've been trying to adjust these numbers and go through them. There's a lot to digest here. Like I won't even have market deals this time because there's just a wealth of information I've been digging into. But let's get back to the Spike 2s. The game that shocks me, Aerosmith Premium. Aerosmith Premium. It is up 15% from last year. So it is now, people are selling this around $12K. It's up 15%. And if you bought this when it originally came out at $6,500, imagine this, a premium for $6,500, you would be up 52% of your investment. So Aerosmith Premium, Aerosmiths aren't bad they seem to be retaining their value. So when the media day happened last May, and we were speculating, well, there's Aerosmith side cabinet arts and stuff on the ground. I mean, Stern knows what they're doing. They're trying to see what's going on with the market. So, okay, those are your 6 games. So 3 bad, 3 good for Spike 2. Like I said, we're going to be going over the numbers over these next months. I'm going to try to focus on per category. So this month I want to do Spike 2 by Stern, especially with the release of Dungeons and Dragons on the horizon. I just think it gives us a good indicator where the modern market is going, but it gives us an idea. Stern has such a long history, right? We're 25 years at this point. So they give us a good idea of what's happened with the market over the last 25 years and where the market is going. I do want to give this little tidbit because I did Jersey Jack numbers, and overall, they're up 10% in value if you leave Pirates of the Caribbean in those numbers. But if you take Pirates of the Caribbean out, it drops to negative 13% on your investment. So some of these games some of these numbers have very big anomalies, and it's amazing that Pirates of the Caribbean can give it a 23-point swing. That is insane. So again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. This was a smash hit. I'm excited to see where these other numbers go. Hopefully that gets you going for the next month of where you want to buy. Looking at spikes, the Spike 2s, looking at JJPs. Maybe that's not it. Honestly, Bally Williams are looking really great right now. And there is one on that list that has absolutely shocked me, but that is for next time. If you want to check us out, if you want to hit us up at Loser Kid Pinball on all of our socials, loserkidpinballpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send us an email, hit us a comment, hit us a like, hit us a subscribe. I read all the comments, so I try to reply to them. Unless you say something really random and wild that I have no clue how to respond to. It is what it is. I want to thank the over 13,000 people that tuned in just on YouTube to our content. Thanks for the support. We appreciate all you do. Like I said, Silver Ball swag, get some of this stuff. Also, flipping out pinball, get that Dungeons and Dragons. Is Harry Potter on the way? Don't know. Better hit up and get on that list. And for my final words, just remember, pinball is only worth what someone's willing to pay.